I welcome failure nowadays. Like, I hope that I fail at things, because what I've learned is the biggest lessons that I've ever learned in my life are from failure, right? It's like you can't really learn real lessons in life without failing. Like, everybody in the world that is anybody has failed on their journey, right?
For we're rolling? All right. This is the Rarities Podcast. This is episode 1. And the Rarities Podcast playthrough theme is that it's not about the products that we sell. It's not about the people that I interview who have businesses and what differentiates them. It's about the people, because you can be great in business and you can have scarce products, but the rarity and all these people that do so much, what it really boils down to the most is character, strength of character, it's mentality and mindset. And so the Rarities Podcast is really meant to interview people that have that strength of mind, because those are the most unique people in the world who can accomplish the most, who have been through the most. And I want to extract all of that out of so many different people. And what better person to start with than you, EJ? Because I've known you for a long time. You've been through a ton. And, I think it's going to be exciting on a week-to-week basis, however often we can do it, for me to get to pull those different pieces out of you and people can learn your story and all the different things about you. So I'm glad we're doing it. And
Yeah,
what's
me
up,
too.
man?
What's up, man?
All right. What I want to process with you, and you and I have been doing this for a long time,
Yeah.
just on like a one-on-one basis, just in conversation. It's kind of what started this whole thing, is the idea that, like, wow, if we sit down and we can get this on film, that can be really, really special.
Sure.
So this statue right here, you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a tattoo of the bull and the bear. That's the stock market bull and the stock market bear. And a lot of people don't really understand what that means. So there's this Japanese theme and philosophy of the past that, and this is, it's true in the stock market too, that one day, every single day in the market, things go up, things go down, things go up, things go down, but one thing wins or the other, the bulls or the bears. And what the bulls represent is when the market, the public, people trading in stocks are generally optimistic. If more people are optimistic than pessimistic, it's a positive day in the market. You'll see a plus, you'll see green. If it's a negative day in the market, the bears won. It's a bear market, or a bear day in the market, where you're going to see red on the screen. And so who wins, the bulls or the bears? The philosophy, it's not about business and the markets. It's also what's going on inside your mind. What wins every day, optimism or pessimism? And then there's Jordan Peterson. You know Jordan Peterson,
Sure.
right? And he says you have to pay attention to your self-thoughts and your personal relationships, because there has to be a certain amount of positives to offset and outweigh the negatives. Encounters with your own partner, encounters with somebody you love, positive to negative, and what wins, negativity or positivity in the relationship. And this is something I deal with on a daily basis. What wins? Am I negative? I can't do this. I can do this. You're going to fail. You can do anything you want. And it's the daily fight. And what you see in the market, you see these candlesticks of up and down, and like what wins the day. Now, you can have a lot of bad days in a year. And then at the end of the year, though, if that positivity and that forward push wins, it's going to be a positive year for the market, or a positive year for the person. So my question for you is, with the amount that you've been through, just how do you process this? Positivity versus negativity.
Are we talking like me individually, life-wise?
Yeah. Like your own self-talk about your ability to persevere, go for whatever it is you're aiming for. Tell me a little bit about your background, where you've been, where you're headed. And then I want to talk about how you manage with the day-to-day optimism, pessimism, self-doubt, self-confidence type of thing.
So, I've been through a lot of stuff, man. I think for a long time, because of the cards that I was dealt at a very early age, like it wasn't like the best of luck, right? Like, it was hard to get through situations like that early on, because my self-talk was horrible. where it was like, you're never going to amount to anything. You're not good enough to do certain things. Everybody else is so much better than you. People like you're not the most handsome guy in the world. You're short. You're not tall. You're this or you're that. And
This is the stuff you always thought.
always.
Still to this day, it goes through your
No,
head.
no. Well, it like the thoughts will pop up, but because I have arrived at the mental place that I'm at, I'm able to crush them and squash them very quickly. But I didn't always have that ability, right? And that would consume me and that would overwhelm me. And I would take myself out of the game before I even gave myself a chance to accomplish anything, right? Before I ever got a chance to like catch traction and catch motion.
Like, oh, is it bullshit? Is that whole idea bullshit? Like, you're too this, you're too that.
So somebody once told me, if everybody says the same exact thing, then it must be true, right? And when people tell you things, believe them. And nowadays, from everybody in my life, from you to my best friends to my sisters to my mother to anybody, they all say the same things, right? You're so talented, you have all these different gifts and all these different talents, like your ability to articulate words, your ability to put passion inside of a message that you believe in, your ability to learn very quickly, and all of these different things. People tell me that I'm so good at that. For a very long time I didn't believe that to be true. And that was my own brain that's out to get me, trying to crumble me,
Yeah.
right? And it wasn't until I did a serious amount of work on myself, which I have a hell of a lot more to do. But it wasn't until I started to do a serious amount of work on myself that I started to realize that like I have a brain that for some reason it's wired different than everybody else's and it wants to take me out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you mean?
So like I have this disease of alcoholism, right? And what that means is like, people get this misconstrued where they think like alcoholism has to do with, you drink too much or you do things too much and it becomes unhealthy for you. And that's actually not the case. The definition of an alcoholic is somebody who suffers from a hopeless state of mind and body, right? And my entire life, prior to me ever picking up a drink, I suffered from a hopeless state of mind and body, right? As a young kid, I felt hopeless, right? As a young kid, I felt less than. I felt like I wasn't wanted. And all of those things that aren't true, but that's what my brain tells me because I have an alcoholic brain.
So you were having 3-to-1 negative thoughts,
yeah.
negative to positive.
Yep.
Because I was thinking when you were speaking before, like, I speak to a lot of people in a day,
Mhm.
but the person I speak to the most every day is myself.
Yeah.
And if people start to tell you something, you need to believe it. And I speak to a lot of people in the day, and they tell me a lot of really good, very consistent throughout things about myself. But I talk to myself the most,
Yeah.
and I start to believe those thoughts. There was this thing that I saw about there's a wolf outside in the yard chained up, and there's a wolf in the basement in the dark. Which one's gonna win? And the guy who answered the question was like, the one in the light. And the guy's like, no, it's whichever one you feed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm constantly like 3-to-1 positive thoughts, man. And it's crazy because I've been successful by the standards, I guess, of society and so on. But still, inside my head, every day, I fight to have that optimism versus pessimism, positive versus negative. All right, so you coming up that way and dealing with the same exact thing that I experience now until this day, almost 40 years old. What do? How do you check yourself? How do you electric shock yourself to get from negative back to positive?
So I think part of the goal is to not let the negatives catch too much motion, right? Because when the negatives start to catch motion and gain traction, like I'm then skiing down a slippery slope.
How do they? What does that look like?
If I don't check them beforehand. So like it'll start very subtly, right? Where like
This is like when I saw you snowboard for the first
yeah,
time. Like
remember that?
Caught motion. It was very scary.
It was motion with no movement though, with no control, right? So like I could catch motion, but if I have no control over the things that like really make up that motion, then I'm screwed, right? So like I can go down this hill very, very quickly, right? But like if I have no control over my movements, I'm just gonna crash and burn.
Complete crash.
Complete crash. Which is what happened that first time that I snowboarded,
Yeah,
right?
momentum in the wrong direction.
Wrong direction. Wrong
And
direction.
energy in motion stays in motion type
And I
of thing.
start to feed things that are unhealthy, right? Like unhealthy relationships, whether it be friendships, whether it be in business, whether it be romantic relationships. My intentions in these relationships aren't right. I'm feeding things outside, like ego, selfishness, all of those kind of things. I'm feeding that with like exterior things.
Yep.
And I just have this big gaping hole inside of me that I'm trying to fill with things that are never going to satisfy me.
And then those things you're filling it with start to make you feel bad, like shit also.
Yeah.
It's now this big snowball happens.
Yeah, because now I realize that I'm like I'm messing my shit up by doing that, right? Like for instance, they say like one is too many, 1,000 is never enough. They don't just mean alcohol or drugs. That's with anything, right? I was just talking to somebody and we were talking about fragrances, right? Because that's my thing. Like me and Shane are very, very big on the fragrance thing. And like very quickly I catch myself like getting out of control.
It's 3 weeks and I'm $1,000 in on fragrances out of pocket.
Yeah. And he said, he was like, yo, relax. You know what I'm saying? Relax. You don't need $1 million in fragrances. But like in my head I do, because that's serving me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in all reality it's not. All it's serving is me getting further away from these big goals that I have set for myself, which is like to take care of like past issues that I created for myself, whether it be taxes or non-financial security because I didn't know how to save money when I was making a lot of money and things like that. Like I just keep buying shit that like isn't really satisfying me at the end of the day, and it's moving me further and further away from these goals that I set for myself. When you and I sat down not that long ago, I told you I have these goals and I need to accomplish them.
Mm-hmm. What? Tell me how you do treat yourself to something that you feel like is not excessive, because we have to give ourselves small little wins and victories. Like, let me just relate first, because I bought a watch recently, waited a long time to do it, and I did it after a really big win. The way I said I was going to do it, I waited a long time to do it. But immediately after, I'm like, I got the Breitling. I want the Hublot. I want it bad. I want it bad.
I want the Rolex.
And then it's like, I want the Rolex.
Yeah.
And so for me, I set these lofty goals. And when I accomplish it, and I will go get the Hublot, but I will not allow myself to do it on impulse. Now, there's things I do on impulse, but I don't have anything that's too excessive. And I definitely won't allow myself to go completely off the radar when it comes to buying things. And because it's the same as addiction. It's the same as giving into the drug or the alcohol or the watch. And there's guys that go all in, and then there's guys that don't. And so I know healthy to me is set a lofty goal, accomplish that goal, and you earned it. Be healthy all week and earn your cheat meal. So what are some healthy things that you do for yourself, knowing that you're a guy of excess, that you'll reward yourself with and feel perfectly okay about?
So the healthy things for me is I'm on this thing nowadays where like I'm keeping myself busy, right? Because if I don't, that's when all those thoughts start to creep in. That's when temptation starts to creep in, and like, I can't allow that to happen, right? So I stay busy, whether it be in here, whether it be going to meetings or going to therapy, whatever the case may be, whatever I'm keeping myself busy with. And because I keep myself so busy throughout the week, something that I treat myself to is like the ability to take 2 hours at night to just sit down in silence by myself and watch
whatever
yeah.
the hell you like.
Yeah, like do you remember like when we first started, you used to talk all the time about how like you got to earn that rec. You know what I mean? Like you got to earn that. Like that's not just it, like everything can't be rec. All day can't be rec. It's not playtime. You know what I mean? And like I think you talk about this a lot where like you see a lot in me nowadays that you seen in yourself all those years ago. And that's like it's funny because like I'm starting to realize now, like back then I thought you were a nut job. I thought you were crazy, right? But I'm starting to realize now what you were feeling back then. Like for me, I've had this feeling like I just want to be at work. I just want to be at work because I feel like I'm accomplishing things here,
Yeah.
whether it be in sales, in social media, in marketing, whatever it may be. I feel like I'm accomplishing things here and I'm getting a lot of fulfillment out of it, and it's making me feel good about myself because for such a long time recently, like I wasn't accomplishing anything. I was doing nothing, and I was getting nowhere except for further down in a ditch that I dug for myself.
Well, why come here when it's hard? Like you come here, you have to like force yourself to do stuff versus sitting at home. It's so easy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, sure. But like the only thing that would keep me from going after things that are difficult to accomplish is fear, right? And there is nothing here
Doubt.
or any of that. Like nothing here, nothing in anything that I'm doing right now that will put more fear into me than what I was just doing. Than the fear of me going back to that dark, restricted area that I put myself in.
Yep.
So like you can't scare me more than I can scare myself.
Yeah. Like the failure is not going to hurt as bad as where I've been in the
No.
past. And the worst place I've ever been is when I've abandoned all responsibility.
So I actually I welcome failure nowadays. Like I hope that I fail at things because what I've learned is the biggest lessons that I've ever learned in my life are from failure, right? It's like you can't really learn real lessons in life without failing. Like everybody in the world that is anybody has failed on their journey, right? And like I try not to get caught up in like looking where somebody else is at compared to where I'm at and getting disgruntled because of that. Or looking at where I was previously and because I'm not at that place
Yeah.
that I get disgruntled or I get hurt by that. Do you ever hear the
Comparison is the thief of joy.
well, no, there's this theory. It's called equi something equifinality,
Okay.
right? And what it says is like you like in life two completely different paths can lead to the same destination, right? And then there's multifinality, which is two starting points can end up at the same place. Or yeah, two starting points can end up.
You end up right back at the same place.
Yes, exactly. So
Two different paths can lead to the same destination.
for sure. Or it's two different starting points can lead to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, it's like look, on my life road and my journey, like sure, there might have been a lot of roadblocks. A lot of them were self-inflicted, and I had to take detours because I needed to learn how to become better at decision making, right? I needed to learn how to fend off impulse. I needed to learn how to be more conservative, plan 10 steps ahead rather than see what is in the present and I can only think for in the present moment. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm popping right now. Like I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Not thinking that, there's things that have to be taken care of 10 steps from now.
Yeah.
That like, yeah, while it's all good now, it's not always going to be good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Thank you for this amazing feeling I have right now for the day. I killed it. And
Yeah.
I like to go to sleep with that momentum instead of treat myself, because I have places to go that are 10 years out. And so I need a lot of these days. But right now I feel amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you for that type of thing.
Yeah.
And guys like us are like,
Equifinality is what it's called.
the best I ever felt is on the other side of setting goals. Like, why do it? Because it's hard. It's because the best I ever felt is when I do it, day in, day out. Now I'm gaining momentum. I'm making my own luck because you're in a job, in a career that you're working on. You're growing your skills, tools, abilities, your expertise, but also just the satisfaction of it. I remember there was a time where I was away and I was like, I want to do 10 sets of 10 for pull-ups.
Yeah.
And that was my goal. How long did it take? I don't remember. A few months though. And so while everyone else is sleeping, I'm up and I'm doing my pull-ups. And that's the way it goes. X amount of push-ups. I want to do 1,000 in an hour. So everyone else is sleeping. I'm focused on my goal. That's all I know to do to get healthy is set a goal and focus on that. So everyone else is eating crap and their diet is just whatever. Well, mine is very set and specific. And so now I'm starting to set these standards that I'm living by. And all of a sudden I'm moving in a different way than the masses.
Yeah, I'm very while I don't beat myself up for not being further along than I am, it doesn't mean that that's not a driving force for me to get to where I want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just so you know, like we're watching this. I watch the silver market constantly, and usually when something will head towards its all-time high, fall back, because nothing goes up in a straight line. When it finally breaks through that all-time high, because it kind of established all the support, the foundation it needs to really break through, it breaks through. I mean, heavy. So if the all-time high for silver is $116, $118, when we break that, we're going up, up. So you're going to break past whatever it is that you said, wherever it was you said you were at, you know? And it's funny because you actually just needed that as the foundation.
Yeah.
Right? So a cycle, there's super cycles and then mini cycles along the way. So the mini cycles are like this. This is your up and down inside of a big super cycle. And so you're like this spiral, but it on up and down, all the things you're going through, but you're leading up and you needed that big. So that was like one of your like mini cycles inside of the big one. And then you needed that consolidation phase, like silver just consolidated, just kind of had like a big circle, but is it over? No, that wasn't your highest high. Where you were at wasn't your highest high. Where silver was just at, it's not all said and done. Bitcoin either, because of the fundamental and foundation of what these things are supposed to be and what they're used for. And if you're focused on what you know God is telling you your talents and abilities are, that's where you're going to land. And you look at that first wave, not as, that wasn't the boat. That was just what you needed at that time. That was pretty heavy stuff you went through the past few years, right?
Yeah.
The first 3 and then the last 3.
Yep.
That was just one part of this major cycle. Imagine that as a foundation to now trampoline off of. How far are you going to go?
See, like for a lot of those those dark times, I spent a lot of that time like it was a lot of reminiscing and like thinking about like where I was, but like there was a lot of like deep dark thought that like I'm never going to be able to get back there ever again.
I've had those thoughts before too. I know as a person who's a bit wise that like the way you're supposed to look at it, perspective is everything, right?
Yeah.
What's the right way to look at this? That like, no, it's just when we were in it, it was the worst thing ever. It's like we're never going to get out of this, right? But then I'm like, I know that this is just a foundational point, a stepping stone, a bunch of wisdom and experience that I need to get to where I'm really going. If I can find the tools to climb myself out of this, the optimism, the right mentality, to get back in the game. Because you got to meet God 50-50, man. You got to do the work too, you know? And that's what I'm asking you is like, what are the things you do to keep yourself healthy so that God can bring his blessings to you and help you arrive at where you're supposed to be?
Prayer.
Yep. You earn and you make yourself earn the things that you allow. You know what you do a lot of? You do family stuff. When I met you, before I knew you, I was like, wow, this guy really nurtures family things. Yeah. You show up for those events. You know what? When you sit down on a Sunday and you just watch football all day, or you sit on your phone, watch a movie, you don't have to worry about a thing. Like you earned it. That's just my mentality. And I make myself earn everything. And I love it. And I appreciate it more.
You know what a big thing for me is? So like, you know, I do this 12-step recovery program and like, you know, it really serves me in a big way. I take it very seriously. It's not a game that I play. And your 10th step is continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So before I go to bed every night, I do an overview of what my day was. And, you know, I look at where I was good, but more importantly, I look at where I fell short, because there's no such thing as perfect balance, right? Now, I can I can attempt to achieve that on a daily basis, but we all know that like that'll never be achievable. But what it does for me is like I have a natural competitive nature, and I've always competed with everybody else because it was like ego or feeling less than, and I just wanted to be better than everybody else, right? Now I can kind of redirect that competitive nature toward myself. So wherever I fell short today, I make sure that tomorrow I am pointed in those areas. And essentially, what that does is it makes it where when I put more effort into the areas that I fell short yesterday,
Yeah.
then today I'm going to fall short in a different area.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I have to focus on that one. And then I'm going to fall short in this one. And it's just a never ending daily competition with myself. And I have to imagine that, like, bro, eventually doing it like that and going about viewing it like that from that perspective is going to land me in a place that I couldn't even
It's
imagine.
the inevitable. How do you go about not being perfect every day? One of my things is like, why did you eat that so late?
Yeah.
Jonathan, why did you eat this at 8:30 at night? It'll be yogurt with granola, and I'm just nutty about it. And it's like every day you fail, I feel like you're lacking at something. How do you deal with, every day you're gonna fall short somewhere and not be like, I'm not enough, I'm not this, because I keep up a lot of different things in a day that are important to me. And when I'm not processing things right, I'll let whatever I feel like I don't have or where I'm inadequate spiral me out of control. Completely not abandoning the idea that, like, you're doing amazing, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, dude, look at you. Meaning what's going on between my freaking ears is crazy. I'll look at myself and be able to slow myself down, because this mind is a powerful tool, for better or worse. How do you go about not spiraling yourself out based on all these things, or just feeling like you fell short?
So, I've come to the conclusion that I will never be able to achieve perfection, right? The only thing that I need to achieve perfection in is just not picking up a drink or a drug in a day. If I can just achieve that perfectly, where I don't pick up a drink and I don't pick up a drug, then it gives me a fighting chance to kind of improve on any other areas of my life.
Yeah.
Once I pick one up, I take myself out of the game, and I'm screwed. I'm done.
Yeah.
Because there's no telling when it's going to stop, right? And history shows that. But if I can just make it, no matter how difficult the day is, bro, like God forbid, knock on wood, my mother dies, right? If I can make it through that without picking up a drink or without picking up a drug, I will get through it. I'll get through it. And I've come to that realization that, like, everything will be okay as long as I don't.
That's how you stop yourself from spiraling out of control. Oh my God, I fell short here. And then you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Everything will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you can slow yourself down and just say that, like, you'll be all right. You know how when you work out, you get sore as hell?
Sure.
You got to give your body 2-3 days to recover and
Sure.
do certain things. These drugs, they hijack your mind, right? And so the recovery, like, I'm saying this because you're so lucky, bro, that you have all your faculties. You're bright, sharp, smart. You're everything, right? With the right perspective and mentality that I pray to God you keep, because I can't wait to just sit there and watch what you become. And, like, I love to be a part of your life. But the recovery from those drugs is years.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond after you stop,
Sure.
to recover your brain that you just deteriorated because of the negative thoughts, the impulse, the rewiring that you did that makes you only react off impulse. And then, of course, just it slows you down, and just everything. Way longer, man, than 3 days after a good back workout.
Yep. So for that kind of, I'll kind of touch on what you just said. Like, I'm very grateful for that, and I'm very blessed in that area where, like, yo, bro, I have seen people, one, that don't make it out, right? They just die. Like, one day they're there, and then the next day that they're not. Yeah. And it's because they succumbed to this disease, and it took them out. You know what I mean? Unfortunately for them.
Their stuff snowballed so
Just
deep, but they don't
done.
even, you don't even know how to get yourself out of it.
Done. Then there's people that do make it back, but their mind doesn't, and they're never the same ever again, right? And then there's people that make it back, their mind's still there, but there's physically things that didn't make it back. Like they lose an arm, they lose a leg, and that's something, they lose their teeth, anything, which seems so minor compared to dying, but for some people it's not, right? And for me, like, yo, I have all these times where like I've made it back, like I've pretty much made it back unscathed, right? Where I still have all of these things, and like I don't, I no longer take that for granted, which I did for a long time. I don't take that for granted anymore. And I've stepped into this role in my life where like I understand what my abilities are, what my talents are, what my gifts are, and it doesn't serve me in a selfish way anymore. It serves me in a way where it's like I have all of these things, and like I was blessed with all of these things for a reason, and my purpose in life is to help other people in one way, shape, or form, whatever, however I can help. You know what I mean? And like doing that keeps me from getting so self-absorbed, because as soon as I get self-absorbed, I'm skiing down a very slippery slope, and I'm screwed.
Just for the record, EJ and I have worked together for years. We've earned money together in the millions. And as time goes on and we pull more of this story and our history out, and you see the places that we've been together and separately, it's a hell of a story. And I only say that with the numbers and stuff like that because of what happens when people are positive and on their absolute best and what they can become. And just like that, they can go the other way. And you can be in an up cycle, man. There's going to be down days in an up cycle, and just remember that, because in the snap of a finger, your life can spiral out of control. The Rarities Podcast, man, is about the people. It's about the strength of character and the mindset and the perspective of the people. And what comes with that, when they truly are rare, is all the success and color in the world. And we're going to explore both sides of it. Dude, I love you. I appreciate the shit out of you. We're going to keep on doing it, but I'm glad that you were the first one, bro.